I'm Tariq Melrose. You know it's a wild news day when the fact checkers need a break. Today's statements weren't just misleading, they were practically fictional. But don't worry, I brought the red pen. Subscribe now because we're about to mark up every paragraph they hoped you skipped. And it's going to get a little uncomfortable, but that's where the truth usually lives.
Ted Cruz cries, weaponize DOJ while defending Trump's corruption, proving Republicans don't want justice. They want immunity for power. Stay tuned for this video as we dismantle GOP lies, expose Cruz's hypocrisy, and fight to defend real democracy.
Clearly not going to answer that question, so let me get on to...
Would you like to?
I do have questions for the second round.
You'll have a second round. Would you like to speak before I call on Senator Cruz?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Senator Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. General Bondi, welcome. Thank you for
Thank you.
your long career in public service, and thank you for your willingness to take on this incredibly important office. You know, I have to say, I don't know that there is a more important position in this new administration than the position to which you have been nominated, Attorney General of the United States. I thought the exchange just a moment ago with Senator Hirono was illustrative. She asked you how you would respond if the president asked you to target his political enemies. It's rather striking because it's not a hypothetical. It has happened over the last 4 years. And I think perhaps the most tragic legacy of the Biden-Harris administration has been the politicization and the weaponization of the United States Department of Justice. And we don't need to ask hypothetically because Joe Biden publicly mused and allowed the New York Times to report it, calling on Merrick Garland, why will he not prosecute Trump more quickly? And Merrick Garland, sadly, he sat in that chair and promised to be apolitical, and he broke that promise almost the instant he walked into the Department of Justice. If you look on the west pediment of the Supreme Court of the United States, just above the entrance, there's a simple yet profound four-word phrase, equal justice under law. We have seen over the last 4 years a Department of Justice that systematically targeted the political opponents of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and that systematically protected his friends and allies. And it is tragic to see the loss of confidence in the American people, in the Department of Justice, and in the FBI. I would note, I don't think there's an institution in America who has lost more respect from the American people than the FBI has in the last 4 years. That is a grotesque violation of the obligation of the Department of Justice and the FBI. So I want to start with just a very simple question. If you are confirmed as Attorney General, will you pledge to fairly and faithfully uphold the law regardless of party?
So help me God.
Amen. Look, and I want to be clear for folks at home. I don't want a Republican Department of Justice. I don't want a Democrat Department of Justice. I want a Department of Justice that follows the damn law. And I think the American people do too. That shouldn't be too much to expect. Now, I'm grateful to President Trump for nominating you. I think on any objective level, you're clearly qualified for this position. You have been a prosecutor for decades. You have been the elected Attorney General of the state of Florida, the third largest state in America, for 8 years. Let me ask you, in terms of your practice, how many criminal cases over the course of your career have you personally handled?
Handled thousands.
How many of those were before a jury?
Hundreds. I don't want to overstate, but hundreds. I was in a courtroom for many years. I tried 4 when I was a an intern jury trials. I think you had to try at least 20 in misdemeanor before you went to felony. Then you were in court every day, and I was also lead trial attorney for many years trying many cases. So,
And how many of those cases would have been before a judge?
hundreds and hundreds as well, but hundreds before a jury, I would assume.
And as Attorney General of Florida, how many lawyers did you supervise roughly?
Approximately 400, Senator.
Now, I also want to clarify something. During the course of this hearing, several Democrat senators have referred to you as President Trump's, quote, personal lawyer. Now I don't believe that is an accurate characterization. As I understand it, you represented President Trump as a White House special advisor during his first impeachment trial. Is that correct?
Within Office of White House Counsel, yes, Senator.
And is working within the White House counsel's office different than representing Donald J. Trump individually as his personal lawyer?
Absolutely.
How's it different?
You're working for the government. You're working for the Office of White House Counsel. You're not representing him in his personal capacity.
And so you have not represented him in his business affairs, in his personal life, or in any of the criminal trials he has faced?
No, Senator.
And you know, when it comes to weaponization, it's worth noting that in more than 2 centuries of our nation's history, no president had previously been indicted, no president had previously been prosecuted until the Biden-Harris White House came along. And in the last 4 years, we've seen Donald Trump indicted and prosecuted not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 separate times.
And 2 assassination attempts, Senator.
I have to say, Javert from Les Mis would be chagrined at the efforts of Democrats to do anything possible to take him down. And I believe the real target in this was not President Trump, but it was the American people, that these prosecutions were brought because partisan prosecutors were terrified that the American people would do exactly what they did in November of 2024 and vote to reelect Donald J. Trump.
By 77.3%. Million Americans, 77.3 million Americans.
Will you commit every day as Attorney General to follow the law, to follow the Constitution, to uphold the rule of law without favor and without regard to the partisan position of any criminal defendant?
Yes, Senator.
That's what we should all expect from an Attorney General. Thank you.
We'll now recess for 30-minute lunch break. That means we'll be back.
Ted Cruz never misses a chance to put on a performance. In this hearing, he wasn't searching for truth. He wasn't asking real questions. He was playing his favorite role, Trump's defense attorney, spinning conspiracy theories and smearing Democrats in the process. Cruz opened with his usual dramatics, pretending to be gravely concerned about the weaponization of the Department of Justice. According to Cruz, the Biden-Harris administration has turned the DOJ into a partisan hit squad. But here's the reality. The DOJ has not been weaponized against political enemies. The DOJ has been doing what it is supposed to do, upholding the law no matter who breaks it. The difference is that for the first time in history, a former president, Donald Trump, has been indicted on multiple charges. And why? Because he broke the law. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, 4 times. The indictments weren't political, they were legal consequences. Cruz wants Americans to believe that Trump is some innocent victim of persecution, but the facts are undeniable. Trump tried to overturn a democratic election. He incited an insurrection at the Capitol. He hoarded classified documents and obstructed efforts to get them back. He falsified business records to cover up hush money payments. These are not political differences. These are crimes, crimes that any other citizen would have been prosecuted for long ago. For Ted Cruz to stand there and call this politicization is pure gaslighting. He's not protecting justice. He's protecting Donald Trump. And by doing so, he's undermining the very rule of law he pretends to care about. Cruz also threw out the tired GOP talking point that Biden pressured Merrick Garland to prosecute Trump faster. This is nonsense. Biden has consistently stayed out of DOJ matters. Contrast that with Trump, who constantly pressured his attorneys general to go after his enemies and protect his friends. Trump demanded loyalty pledges. Trump ordered investigations into Hillary Clinton and James Comey. Trump wanted the DOJ to investigate journalists, Democrats, even his own officials. That is politicization. That is weaponization. And Cruz had nothing to say about it when Trump was the one abusing the DOJ. What Cruz is really doing here is projection. Republicans are masters of it. Everything they accuse Democrats of, they themselves have done. They scream about Biden weaponizing DOJ, while Trump openly turned DOJ into his personal protection racket. They scream about Biden corruption, while Trump's family cashed in on foreign deals, from Ivanka's Chinese trademarks to Jared Kushner's $2 billion Saudi blood money. They scream about equal justice while they excuse Trump's crimes, coddle insurrectionists, and attack anyone who tries to hold them accountable. Cruz even dragged the FBI into his rant, claiming it's lost the trust of the American people. Why has the FBI taken hits in public opinion? Because Republicans like Cruz have spent years demonizing it. When the FBI investigated Hillary Clinton's emails, Republicans praised it. When the FBI investigated Russian interference in Trump's 2016 campaign, suddenly the FBI was corrupt. When the FBI raided Trump's Mar-a-Lago to recover classified documents, Republicans screamed, "Gestapo." This isn't about principle, it's about loyalty to Trump. If the FBI goes after Democrats, Republicans cheer. If the FBI goes after Trump, Republicans smear. That's the GOP playbook. Cruz then tried to sanitize the record of Trump's nominee, General Bondi. He emphasized her long career, her time as Florida's Attorney General, her courtroom experience. Fine, no one disputes she's been in public service. But Cruz ignored the glaring issue. She has already served as Trump's defender during his first impeachment trial. She wasn't an independent arbiter. She wasn't a neutral lawyer. She was part of Trump's political defense team. To pretend she is some apolitical candidate is insulting to the intelligence of the American people. When Democrats pointed this out, Cruz rushed to defend her, saying she was working for the government, not Trump personally. That's a technicality. Whether or not she represented Trump personally, she worked to shield him from accountability for abusing power. That is a fact. And that fact matters, especially when we're talking about the top law enforcement officer in the country. Cruz tried to spin history, acting shocked that Trump was indicted at all. In more than 2 centuries, no president has been prosecuted, he thundered. He's right, but not for the reason he thinks. No president before Trump has committed crimes at this scale. No president before Trump tried to overthrow an election. No president before Trump incited a mob to attack Congress. No president before Trump stole classified documents, lied about them, and obstructed justice. Trump's indictments are unprecedented because Trump's criminality is unprecedented. Cruz then pushed another dangerous lie, that Trump's prosecutions are not really about Trump, but about the American people. According to Cruz, Democrats are targeting Trump to silence his supporters. That's absurd. Trump is being prosecuted for his own actions, not for the votes he received. The 77 million Americans who voted for Trump are not on trial. Trump is. The real threat to democracy is not Democrats prosecuting crimes. It's Republicans like Cruz trying to convince voters that holding Trump accountable is an attack on them personally. That is how authoritarian movements operate, by merging the leader with the people, so any criticism of the leader becomes an attack on you. It's dangerous, it's manipulative, and it's pure Trumpism. Cruz loves to grandstand about equal justice under law, but what he really wants is immunity for Trump and impunity for Republicans. He wants one set of rules for them and another for everyone else. Ordinary citizens face charges if they break the law. Trump should too. Equal justice under law means nobody is above the law, not even a former president. Cruz pretends he doesn't want a Republican DOJ or a Democratic DOJ, just a DOJ that follows the damn law. But when Democrats do exactly that, he cries foul. The only DOJ Cruz will accept is one that bends to Trump's will. That's not law. That's not justice. That's authoritarianism. The Republican Party has abandoned the rule of law. They cheer Trump's corruption, they excuse his crimes, they demonize the FBI and DOJ for doing their jobs, they attack prosecutors, judges, juries, anyone who dares hold Trump accountable, and then they call Democrats partisan. That's projection at its most cynical. The truth is simple. Trump is a criminal. Republicans are defending him because they're afraid of losing power. Ted Cruz is not a champion of justice. He's a propagandist, using Senate hearings as a stage to spread lies and protect Trump. And the American people should not be fooled. Democrats stand for democracy, accountability, and equal justice under the law. Republicans stand for Trump, corruption, and impunity for the powerful. That's the choice, and that's why hearings like this matter, because they reveal who is fighting for the Constitution and who is trying to burn it. This has been Tariq Melrose Vlogs. We cut through the lies, call out the hypocrisy, and defend democracy every single time. If you're tired of Ted Cruz's theatrics, if you're sick of Republicans protecting Trump instead of protecting America, and if you want truth over propaganda, hit that subscribe button, share this video, and join us. Together, we will hold the GOP accountable and fight for the future of democracy.